proved the concept that you could actually have two classes at once by the same teacher, and these kids didn't have to travel 20 miles to the next school. How did that come about, and just in terms of what you yourself have learned from putting something like that in place, do you think it's feasible that we could perhaps have this kind of technology in every school in Ireland one day?
I think it absolutely is feasible. I suppose where the project came about was some of the people in Meath VEC were looking at a specific issue they had, which was that students in some of the specific subjects, chemistry in this particular case, there was 3 students in Longwood who wanted to take Leaving Cert chemistry, but actually that subject wasn't being taught in school. Now, this problem existed when I was in school. I think physics wasn't available in the particular school I was in. So I ended up studying that on my own with no teacher support, which you know, I kind of got there in the end, but the hard way to do it. So we were looking at, first of all, was there a technical solution to this? So typically if you spend enough money, there's a technical solution to any type problem. But as it happened, through some of the licensing the VEC already had in place with Microsoft, we were able to use Microsoft OCS technology to set up a very simple, this is just a webcam, a tablet PC, and some computing equipment at the other side that the students actually have notebooks. So with a very low-cost solution that really all these component parts were in place already, it was just about enabling that in the school, and the success of it has been fantastic. I mean, it's been noted as being probably the way forward to solve this problem. We all know that we don't have enough teachers, we all know we have huge class sizes, and this idea of pooling resources that we really never have done in Ireland before, this would be the first example of it, where effectively anybody, they could take another 100 students doing chemistry around the country in some of the smaller schools and teach them all from one location.
Yes, St Fintan is a small rural school in County Meath. We have 160 pupils here at the moment. We draw our pupils from 9 feeder primary schools, actually from 3 counties, Meath, Kildare and Westmeath. It's a mixed school, boys and girls, so we'd have about 50% boys and 50% girls, which is unique, I suppose, to have quite a large number of girls in the school. We have about 18 teachers presently working in the school in Longwood. We provide a broad a curriculum as possible in the school and a lot of extracurricular activities. With the cutbacks in education last year, we weren't able to provide chemistry for the students, and we had 3 students who were very interested in studying this subject. Now, with 3 students, I couldn't afford to have a teacher teaching 3 students in the school. So I spoke with Seamus Ryan, who's the education officer with Meath VEC, and we got together with Dunshaughlin Community College, and we set up a link whereby they could provide by remote access to chemistry in Dunshaughlin.
What will be the difficulty when you add soap to hard water?
It won't easily form lather.
Excellent. It won't easily form a lather with soap, and that's essentially our test for hardness in water or for the presence of calcium ions. If it was soft water, what do you think might be the difference between adding a lather, adding the soap flakes to soft water? What might form easily?
The lather form easily.
Exactly. So once you actually shake the mixture or make it uniform, you will see that a lather will form quite easily, and that will confirm the presence that it's actually soft water. Probably that calcium ions or magnesium ions are not present. All right. The scum is what's formed with hard water, and that's a problem in some areas where we have hard regions. Any idea what we might do to remove some of the hardness that's in water? Can you think of any one method that you might use to remove the hardness in water?
Boil it.
Pardon?
If you boil the water.
Well, excellent. If you have got temporary hardness, it's very easy to remove by boiling. Very excellent, well done.
You're kind of in the front row of a lot of people who are going to study this way in the future. How did it come about, and how do you find it as a way of learning chemistry?
Well, basically, like, the 3 of us wanted chemistry to put on, so we said it to Mr. Stack, our principal, and basically he said he'd come back to us about it, and like he didn't know because there wasn't enough teachers in the school to like put it on for us because there was only 3 of us doing it out of our class. So he came back to us with the system, and like it was very experimental at the time, but yeah, it was able to be put on for us. So,
do you find that the experience like if you're learning, do you find it's less than what you normally get in a normal chemistry class, or do you find that it actually works in terms of getting the information into your heads and
I think you get the same. You get the same, like you can, as long as you focus on what's going on, and it's just like a normal class. Like if your teacher in front of you and you're going through everything, you can see everything she's doing, and everything goes in, you understand it all.
And do you find that the teacher and the way she interacts with you, do you think that she's able to make sure you're included in the class that's going on, or is it more of a direct class to you only?
No, she asks us questions like she would in a normal class, and she just interacts with us like it would be a normal class, yeah.
Does the teacher come in then once them to visit you guys as well, kind of just go over things in terms of tests and just in terms of your work?
Yeah, she'll come in and she'll sit down with us for a few classes and just go over anything that we didn't understand, things that are like hard to explain over camera, like if you have to do diagrams or stuff like that, and she'll make sure that we know it all.
Initially, I suppose I was quite nervous about how it would all work, but I have to say after the first week, it really did settle down, and it has been as simple as having the 3 students in front of me. The students participate in class as if they're in front of me. They answer questions, they answer their homework based on notes we've done in previous classes, so it has actually been extremely successful. And to be honest, after the first week or so, they're just considered as part of the class here, so it has worked particularly well.
In terms of where we could go with this next, in terms of the limitations you might have found in using this system, is there anything you could change or would change?
Yes. For chemistry, because it is a practical subject, the only limitation that we came across during the year was when my students here in Dunshaughlin, the class here in Dunshaughlin, were doing their practical work. It meant that for the students in Longwood, while mine completed their practical in the lab, what I assigned the students in Longwood to do was to write up the practical. They came over to me then at a different time to complete the practical work that they had missed. Now, that's one limitation that's associated with chemistry, not with every other subject, because of the fact that chemistry is practically based. It will be easy to overcome in a lot of other subjects where there's no practical work, and also in chemistry, as I say, they do come over, they do join us, so they do catch up on any of the work that they've missed.
There was a lot of work initially involved in getting this set up, and Microsoft, of course, were very helpful in this respect. So we had it set up in September when the students came back. And we're delighted that we did, because the students are really eager to learn the subject. They go to Dunshaughlin for their practical work in the subject, and which is great. The teacher is very helpful to them. She emails the homework to them, and they email it back when they have completed it. So that is working very well. We also have a teacher here in the school who looks after the technical side of things. You know, dealing with technology, you can have problems from time to time. But overall, it's been very, very good, worked very well up to this.
How do you think the students themselves are taking to it, and in terms of tackling the course that they're tackling?
Well, they are. They're very enthusiastic students, and we also have the teacher comes over maybe once a month, in next year. This is one of the things we didn't think of, I suppose. There has to be some face-to-face with the teacher. Now, she has already come over this year, but next year we're going to build it in, that the teacher will come here to Longwood, say, once a month, to sit down with the students and to go over some of the work, because some of the things are fairly technical and they find it difficult to pick it up over the internet. But with this built in, I think it'll work very well, and they're very pleased with it, and they're very happy about it, that we're actually providing the chemistry for them in the school. They wanted to stay in the school, so this is the way we did it. Now, it has potential, I think, for a lot of small schools throughout the country.
And get a virtual learning environment in place between schools. And when we have that, we should definitely move on to the next level. But I would be very cautious of trying to get ahead of things before we've actually done the basics. And it'll solve this equality issue, which actually I see more and more. Every time you go and visit a school, you see more and more a divide between schools that have technology and have teachers that have passion around technology and fortunately have been able to raise money or get money to do it, and schools that haven't. And that just shouldn't be allowed to happen. So I think everyone, step one, get everyone to the same level, and then let's get on to step two. But do not go to step two until you pass go on step one.
One of the things that you guys did quite early on, not long after that, was take on school teachers who are part-time, I don't know, employed by the department, or they work here in Microsoft to work on the curriculum. In terms of, if you could describe maybe scenarios about how IT will help particular learning in the years ahead, like the future of the classroom and how, you know, the kind of things that might come out of this development of curriculum?
Yeah, we're taking on graduates, John, actually, to go and help develop the curriculum. And so you could think about, you know, things like teaching children about geography or history. I mean, imagine being able to go online and see a zoo in Japan and see the type of animals that they have. Imagine being able to go online and see flowers in Africa and see what they have and teach children about that. Imagine being able to go to the National Library here in Ireland and see the letter that Eamon Kant wrote to his wife on the morning that he was executed in 1916, and actually see it. We've digitised it for the National Library. Imagine being able to go online and see, you know, how Ireland looked 300 years ago, because we've captured those photographs, we've captured all that digital content. It's online now and it's preserved forever. So I think it's limitless what people will be able to do. The very start point of all of that is actually to start with the teachers and say, you know, teach the teachers to imagine what they could achieve with this. So everyone's got a very powerful imagination around IT that I've spoken to in education, in schools, in the department. But I think the start has got to be with the professional development of teachers to open their minds to this stuff, and they're very, very receptive to it, extremely receptive to it. But I think it's you know, you could go through every school subject in Irish, in English, As Gaeilge, As Béarla, history, geography, science, and just say, imagine what we could look at. That, you know, with the internet, with the magic of the internet, that we couldn't in our textbooks.